Welcome back, learners. In this session, we are going to discuss performance appraisal methods. There are various performance appraisal methods used by the organizations. Some are quite old, some are modern, some have evolved over the period of time, and some still are practiced because they give more qualitative content irrespective of the time consumed by them. We will discuss one by one. So in this lecture, I am going to discuss only one part of this, and that is traditional or past performance oriented based methods. Okay. So these traditional methods were only considering the performances till date of the employee. First is SA method. When performance is measured by any manager, it is considering both qualitative and quantitative nature of its duties. So how you will quantify something which is qualitative? So over a period of time, as the methods evolved, they allowed to quantify these qualitative attributes of the performance of the employees. The SA method. In this method, as the name says, essay was written on the performance of every employee. Can you imagine how difficult it will be to write an essay? But why this approach was practiced for a period of time is there is a description of that employee's performances in various situations and also noting down the ups and downs or any such incidences where it is very noticeable or remarkable to note it down. So SA method was both qualitative and quantitative, and this used to be like managers are writing an essay of their subordinates, and these essays were then reviewed for rating them or for appraising their performances. The SA methods used to be very descriptive, and the loophole in this was the length of the essay was not decided. Another thing, it was also more based on the writer's qualities or writer's personality and personal perceptions. So it will be a skillful job to write essay, and that is also for every employee working under your supervision. It is time consuming, as very obvious that not every manager has, rather no manager has that much time to read all those essays and go through them. So this was practiced, but this is not so popular. Later came on graphic rating scale. In this, rating is given to an employee for his various qualities that are expected for his job. This was quite more standardized, where every quality will be rated, say for example, between the scale of 1 to 5. So for poor performance you can give 1, and for the best or excellent performance you can write or give him 5 points. So what will be rated here? Those qualities required for the particular job will be listed, will be identified, listed, and then they will be included in a graphical format where the manager will be rating them. What these qualities can be? These qualities will be based on what job profile is and what is expected as obvious. So how is the person's knowledge about the process? What is his ability to deal with difficult situation? How he behaves in the atmosphere or in the premises. So behavior is disciplinary behavior can be rated. It can also be rated that how he behaves with the subordinates, peers, and also superiors, right? Then his punctuality can be rated, and so on. So the qualities can be many based on the job performances, the job requirements. All these qualities will be listed, and the scaling will be done. This is one way, and at the end of the day, after what we'll do after scaling, so if we are rating that 5 is the good one or the showing you the high performances, then the total of all the 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s and 1s will be calculated, and the total performance will give the total points for every employee. Field review. This is before field review, let me tell you a few things about graphic rating scale. There are also some loopholes about this second method, and those are, managers used to give high ranks to the subordinates for several reasons. One reason was to save their time. Second was to be a good leader and to display that yes, he is a good boss. Yes, that is quite ambiguous, but that is there. And third is, it will take time for every employee to be rated on that quality. See, rating in a format or a form of a paper is easy, but when we are considering that, okay, we have to rate his knowledge, so on what basis you are going to rate his knowledge? Again, you will have to create sub-criteria to rate those. So, how the knowledge of the employee will be displayed? There will be various situations, and who has seen those situations? Manager, was he there with every employee every time? No. Then that is why it is difficult, that is why it is time consuming, that's why it cannot be done in one shot, and that's why it requires several stages like self-appraisal forms, then asking their peers and confirming every bit of it, whether the same thing can be confirmed by various sources, and then that can be rated. So imagine that just not one form for a performance can rate anyone. And that is why it cannot be done so frequently in a year. So companies max to max practice is once or twice a year, not more than that. Because those companies having large number of employees, it will be really difficult for them to record all their performances throughout the year. And so what the best they can do is, whatever or whosoever is the immediate manager, he can record their performances on a daily basis or weekly basis, and then that can be segregated into a consolidated reports. But that cannot be done in one way. Here there are loopholes. Who can tell whether the manager has fairly done the rating? So here also the manager's rating has to be tallied, or it has to be checked. That is why it is checked from the lower end and also the higher end. So what higher ends do to check this? So if the manager has rated, so earlier days this was not caught, and they used to finish it in a one way that, okay, give the ratings, okay, I am a good boss, yes, and we'll continue. But here the loopholes were poor performances of the people were also rated high, and that in future affected their overall performances of the organization, which made them difficult to achieve their objectives. So graphic rating scale at prima facie was not so effective. So the next thing is field review. So here the faults were possible and not faults were happening, and they were not possible to catch hold. But then came the field review, wherein the managers are actually coming to the field and having an interview with other managers whose team is to be rated. So if there is team X having 10 employees and there is their manager X, so people, not single person, here a group of people will come and visit that manager, and they will ask how your team is performing and how would you rate them, why you would rate them, there are set standards, whether they really fit into those. If there are, again, as you can recall the previous lectures, the questions will arise why you feel you should rate them 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. This everything will be there, and here he cannot fault. The manager cannot lie. So this is more fairer procedure, where managers' interviews can be taken and the group judgment will be there. So this is again not based on a single source but multiple sources. So multiple people are involved in appraising them. Next is forced choice rating. Forced choice rating where the choices are done, let's say this is 50% of the performance, 30% and 10% on the lower side and same on the higher side. So higher side 50, 10% is, so one has to choose out of them, and you can say that whether he is a good performer or bad performer, poor performer. So this is a forced choice. So here what we have done, we have given 5 criteria or whatever criteria set, and we have to choose only something between them. So the quality is to be, or the procedure is less here, less time consuming and more precise. Critical incidences. Now this critical incidences came into the picture when if you are giving a true genuine feedback to the poor performer, what will happen? Let's say Mr. Akash is performing consistently poor and he is being told in after the performance appraisal that his performance was not up to the mark. So General Electric, when was practicing this, they found out that this is effective, this is affecting negatively. How? Because those were told that their performances were poorer, they were demotivated and they continued giving poor performances. Now this was something questionable. So how to motivate them and increase their performance and help them feel motivated? These challenges came into. So critical incidences are the situations where these kind of incidences are recorded, and on a continuous basis the manager records what faults or what ineffective things that the employee has made, so that Mr. Akash can be told why his performance is rated poor and what were the reasons. So here this method catch hold the reasons for not appraising someone's performance. Fair enough, another process. And the next one is work standards. In work standard methods, obviously the standards are set. This is very, very popular after BPOs and KPOs, where they have daily targets rather hourly targets and standards are set. One example can be SLA, that is service level agreement. When one company is giving certain task, or we can say when one company is outsourcing the task to another company, they have one contract. And that contract says that, okay, I want the work done on this level. So work to be done has to be under these standards and as per these terms and conditions. So here the standards are set. So sometimes, let's say a telephonic or a call center of a telecommunication company, so they will have a target like, okay, if the call drop is there, within how many minutes it has to be called back, or how fast or how frequently you have to perform certain tasks. So the SLA will tell how accurate the work is done. Like if one wants to attain the emails, so how fast or within 1 hour how many emails he is expected to attain and respond. So these are some of the work standards, and these are more fairer, very transparent, and at the same time the performer and the evaluator both can see their performances, and there will be no biasness that one is negotiating and another has to defend it. And the last but not the least in this method is ranking method. Somewhat like draft unity method. Here the ranks are given. Ranks are given. Again, certain qualities are identified which has to be ranked, and those are ranked on the basis of performances. So how these qualities will be ranked? How will you say that, okay, his ability to perform in the difficult situation is great? Has he ever faced a difficult situation? And what if he hasn't faced any difficult situation and things were pretty smooth throughout the year? So, again complex, so they have to filter it out and precise those qualities to be rated and ranked, and these rankings are given. So the top ranker will be given, will be appreciated accordingly, and the lower will be so on. So vis-a-vis. So these are the methods of these are some traditional methods of performances appraisals. In the next lecture, we will discuss all of these which are nowadays performed. Friends, please remember these are quite old and these are not so popularly performed nowadays. These are more important and they are very transparent as they evolved over a period of time. So we will discuss this in the next lecture. Until I bring you this next lecture of management, keep learning and keep watching. Thank you.